Hollow Knight Silksong is one of the most highly anticipated indie games in recent memory, and its journey to this point is a fascinating story of passion, community, and the unexpected rise of a small studio to global fame. The origins of this phenomenon go back to the first Hollow Knight game, which started as a modest Kickstarter project. Team Cherry, a small group of Australian developers, sought only $35,000 Australian dollars to bring their vision to life. The campaign not only met that goal, but exceeded it, reaching $57,000. This success enabled the team to add stretch goals, one of which introduced a second playable character named Hornet with her own abilities and questline. This very stretch goal would later become the foundation for what we now know as Hollow Knight Silksong. The original Hollow Knight became a massive hit, selling over 15 million copies worldwide. Its success was built on a unique combination of factors: intricate and varied level design, a haunting and beautiful atmosphere, a distinct visual style, a memorable soundtrack, and challenging yet rewarding gameplay. Hollow Knight didn't reinvent the Metroidvania genre, but it refined and elevated it. The game stood out from a crowded indie market by perfectly integrating these elements into a cohesive and immersive experience. Over time, Team Cherry released 4 free DLCs, each adding significant content and cementing the game's reputation as a labor of love. Critics recognized this achievement as well, with average scores on Metacritic ranging between 85 and 90, and fans passionately embraced the game for its depth and artistry. As Hollow Knight's popularity grew, so did curiosity about what Team Cherry would do next. Initially, Silksong was planned as a simple DLC expansion, but as development progressed, the scope became too large. The team ultimately decided to release it as a full standalone sequel. When it was officially announced on February 14, 2019, early supporters of the original Kickstarter were promised free copies as a thank you for their initial faith in the project. However, after that announcement, news about Silksong slowed to a trickle, and the game entered a long period of silence that lasted over 6 years. This near-total lack of updates turned the wait into a phenomenon of its own. Fans became so eager for information that the absence of news became a running joke within the gaming community, spawning countless memes and discussions online. The phrase, "Silksong when?" became a meme representing the collective impatience and excitement of the fanbase. During this time, the game's mystery only fueled the hype. Every gaming showcase sparked speculation that a new Silksong trailer would appear, and when it didn't, the community's anticipation grew even stronger. Entire Reddit threads were dedicated to so-called Silk posts, humorous fake leaks and jokes about the game. This meme culture spilled beyond the Hollow Knight community, drawing attention from mainstream gaming media and even industry figures like Jeff Keighley, who participated in the jokes. This unusual period of silence and playful anticipation helped transform Silksong from a niche sequel into a widely recognized gaming event. When Team Cherry finally announced the release date, September 4th, 2025, the response was overwhelming. Hollow Knight's player numbers surged as fans revisited the original game to prepare for the sequel. Steam's concurrent player count for Hollow Knight jumped from a previous peak of 20,000 in May 2022 to 70,000 in late August 2025, and that number doesn't even include other platforms. Silksong quickly rose to the top of Steam's wishlist rankings, reflecting just how many players were eagerly awaiting its release. Remarkably, Team Cherry announced that Silksong would be priced at only €20, a strikingly low figure in an era when new games often cost €80 or more. This decision reflects the studio's philosophy of making their games accessible to as many players as possible. Given the financial success of the original Hollow Knight, Team Cherry could afford to focus on accessibility rather than maximizing profit. The anticipation for Silksong is not only about the gameplay improvements and new world to explore, but also about the mystery surrounding its story. While the developers have referred to Silksong as a sequel, there's still debate about whether its events occur before, after, or even during the timeline of the first game. Hornet, the new protagonist, finds herself transported to a kingdom called Pharloom, but the exact timing of these events remains unclear. This ambiguity has kept the community speculating, adding another layer to the excitement. Fans are eager to see what role Hornet plays in the larger Hollow Knight mythos and how her story will expand the universe. The hype surrounding Silksong can be attributed to several interwoven factors. Hollow Knight's initial success created a passionate fan base, and the prolonged silence between announcement and release allowed anticipation to build to a fever pitch. The playful meme culture surrounding the game kept it in the public eye even when no new information was available. Meanwhile, Team Cherry's reputation for quality and generosity, with free DLCs and now an affordable price point, earned them goodwill and trust from their audience. When the release date was finally revealed, it felt like the conclusion of a collective journey that the community had been on for years. This combination of factors turned Silksong into more than just a game launch. It became a cultural moment in the gaming world, illustrating how even a small indie studio can achieve massive impact through creativity, persistence, and connection with their fans. While the original Hollow Knight's 15 million sales are impressive, numbers alone don't explain the fervor surrounding its sequel. The game's artistry, the team's humility, and the community's involvement all contributed to making Silksong one of the most talked about releases of the decade. As the release date approaches, expectations are incredibly high. Players are eager to explore Pharloom, discover new abilities, and face the challenges that await them as Hornet. The game promises to be larger and more complex than its predecessor, building on everything that made Hollow Knight special, while introducing fresh ideas. For Team Cherry, this is an opportunity to prove that their initial success was no fluke, and that they can continue to deliver world-class experiences despite being a small, tight-knit team. Hollow Knight Silksong shows that a game doesn't need a massive budget or a huge marketing campaign to capture the world's attention. What matters most is the vision of its creators and the passion of its community. When those two forces come together, as they have with Hollow Knight and Silksong, the result can rival even the biggest blockbusters. Players around the world are now counting down the days until they can embark on a new journey with Hornet, ready to see if the years of waiting were worth it. If the quality and care of the first game are any indication, Silksong is poised not only to meet those expectations, but to exceed them, cementing its place as one of the defining games of its generation.